Good luck with your project, and we'll be anxious to see how it all turns out. Thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, our next application is Jeff and Kim Canard at 506 East Main Street. Brooke, would you lead us off with the description of the project?
This contributing shotgun-style home built circa 1860 is owned by Kim and Jeff Kennard in Zone Specialty District. Applicant is requesting to build a new 12-foot by 16-foot porch on the southeast rear. This project was begun without a permit or CO application, and it will be going before the BZA for 0 lot line variance. And I'll flip through the pictures. Sorry. Would you prefer me to stay on this one or go back to the drawing?
Which would be easiest when we get to you guys for your presentation and input? Which would you prefer? Do you want to start with the picture first and then go into the diagram?
Yeah, I think that the before picture is probably pretty telling.
Okay.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you have anything, other input that you'd like to add to the presentation?
Kim Canard, my husband's working. We live actually in Westchester. This is going to be a weekend place for us. So this was 3 hours round trip, but I'm more than happy to be here. As far as I heard someone mention zoning, so we are attending the zoning meeting in 2 weeks. We did hire approved contractors, and we understood that they were going through all of the protocols that needed to be gone through. So we were, because we stopped in a couple times to make sure we thought we were doing the right things. So when we purchased the house, it was definitely in extreme disrepair, and it had vinyl siding across the back and vinyl windows that were broken. And we're putting the LP siding on the back, which I don't think that you mentioned that, but it is, and it's already been done, which we got kind of a special approval to get that done because the back was open and we had a new roof put on. But we did replace the windows with vinyl windows. So the vinyl windows that were there were vinyl windows that we put in. This is the back, I will say that. All of the other windows are the original windows. The 3 doors that are from the 1800s, this spring we're planning on redoing them. So the front of the facade of the house is going to look better than it did, and the back is going to look better than it did. So what we did is we wanted to extend the porch to have outdoor living area, and we kept with the same roof line.
Okay. Can you show the picture of the frame and porch again? Okay. So you're going to keep both of those windows, am I understanding you correctly, or are those windows staying in?
So those are actually new windows.
Okay.
Those are new windows, and we're hoping that they stay.
Okay.
There's actually siding on it now. If I was just there, if you want to update it, but it sounds like you go by. So there's the LP siding's up,
Oh, okay.
all the way up, almost to the windows.
On the back of the house or on the addition?
On that, just the addition. So the addition has it just on the roof line. It's going to be open. It's just
Okay.
an open porch where it's not
Yeah.
being closed in.
I thought so. I just wanted to clarify.
Yes, yes. It's going to be an open porch that will look like the front of the house with the white trim and the white columns, but the porch is now stopped because we have to wait until we get zoning approval because there's 2 additional posts that have to go to support it right next to the house.
Yeah.
So that's still in progress.
Okay. Jerome, can we start with you? Do you have any questions or clarifications?
I just need a clarification. Did you say that the construction on this property started without a permit?
Yes.
Without a permit, I see. And currently the back of the property has siding applied, and it looks to me like you're putting the roof on. The pillars that go down, are they going into the earth? The wood pillars, are they directly going into the earth? Are they buried?
Yes.
I see, and
And there is a roof on that now. So the whole house got a new.
I understand that. So
The
the roof
entire
is
house got a new
attached. The roof is attached to the existing structure,
Correct.
and the pillars you have that support the patio cover, they're sunk directly into the earth.
Yes, they're poured. Yes, they're poured.
They're on
There's
concrete.
holes next to the house that are filled with water right now that we're ready to put the additional two that are gonna be poured.
I see. Interesting. And you said that you were waiting for zoning approval or zero lot line?
Correct. Because the 3 foot clearance variance,
I see.
because it's about I think it's pretty much where we don't have much clearance over there.
And so, is that gonna be a deck that is gonna go across?
No, it's just a patio, so there's just going to be, eventually we'll come back and get approval, I guess, to get brick pavers put down,
Brick
so.
pavers, I
Yeah,
see.
so it's just going to be, a patio, there's not going to be any type of, wood platform or anything like that, so the sidewalk that's there needs to be repaired, so we'll probably end up we still have to get a back gate.
So the
which-
walkway along the fence, is that?
It goes down the gangway and then towards the back door, yes.
And I drove by, I looked, I mean, I couldn't really see it from the alley.
Right.
And then the adjacent street, which street that is? but
East.
That adjacent street there is really hard to even get an eyeball of what's going on back there, so it's really hidden.
Right, and the realtor, this is, of course, the realtor told us that, the back doesn't really matter, even though I looked at the guidelines and saw the guidelines on adding a back porch, and it seemed like it was on the guidelines, so I think it was, I don't know, not understanding the contractor process.
And currently you've applied for a permit for this construction work that is already been.
Yeah, I've sent 7 certified letters to the people that the zoning office told us to send to a couple weeks ago. We've had this year sign in the window right now,
So
so.
the contractor that's building this didn't apply for a permit.
Correct. We thought that was part of the contractor process, but
Right.
we were mistaken.
I have no further questions.
Ken?
Kim, is Bumper Johnson your contractor?
Yes, which
So Brooke, Brian, you need to get Bumper in the office and beat his ass, because he does this all the time, and I love Bumper to death. Kim, you've hired a great guy, but he does this all the time. So I think it's great. Thank you for this project.
Owen?
No questions.
So I have a question, Brian, maybe you can answer this. When is the zoning planning to approve or disapprove the project?
Well,
2
I
weeks.
think, yeah, it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks
out.
from tonight, so
2 weeks from
6:30
tonight?
and 2, yeah.
Now, does work have to stop until then, or can it continue?
No, we did a stop work order to stop.
Okay, so no work until zoning approves? Okay.
Well, you let us finish our siding.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when I stopped this to talk to the guys that were working there, certainly the concept was to let them do what they needed to protect their
The house,
investment.
yeah, thank you.
I understand.
Yeah.
The reason for the 0 lot line is as we know, most downtown side yard, rear yard setbacks are 3 foot.
Right.
And of course, to follow the roof line there, they're pretty much a 0 lot line on the east side, so. But I think, Ken mentioned something, as Nicole and I talked about, part of this process of changing things a little bit with the historic board
Mhm.
is to allow people to move on with the projects in a timely manner. So, of course, they won't get their building permit until they get the zoning approval.
Right.
So regardless of what happens tonight, it's one part of the puzzle.
Okay.
To keep, to make them wait for the zoning board, then that puts them yet another month, in relation to historic board. So simply put, this is one part. They've got to do the DZA for the 0 lot line, and then they can, upon approval on both tonight and that night, then they can get the building permit.
Okay. And Brooke, do we need to include that in any motion that we would make?
No, you would not. And to also clarify, like Ms. Canard is talking about, is that she did receive staff approval on siding that did follow guidelines and a few other projects that
Right.
she had listed.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, but no, you would not need to specify that in the motion.
Okay.
But usually, the way Mr. Wilbur handles it is just to remind everyone at the end of the meeting that there will be further permits that they may need to apply for.
Okay. And you've already applied for those, is that correct, Ken?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Are there any public questions, comments? Okay. On that note, let's start with Owen on findings of fact.
Well, this, to me, it seems like it was consistent with the guidelines. It's new construction, it's at the back. It's consistent with the rest of the house. Let's see. It's smaller, so it's secondary to, in scale to the house. It's compatible in design with the house. It's not trying to imitate some kind of earlier historic style. And so it seems consistent with the guidelines.
Ken?
I agree with Owen.
Jerome?
I agree with Owen.
And I agree for the same reasons. Can we have a motion?
I move that based on the preceding findings of fact, the Madison Historic District Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness to Kim and Jeff Kennard for the proposed addition of a 12-foot by 16-foot porch on the southeast rear side that follows the existing roof line and existing siding on a home located at 506 East Main Street.
I second.
Roll call?
Jerome Vernon,
Approved.
Ken McWilliams,
Approve.
Owen McCall,
Approve.
Thomas Stark.
Approve. And COA will be sent out by Brooke. You can expect it in the mail. And thank you for this project. It's going to be a nice addition to that house.
Yeah, we're super excited. Thank you very much.
Yes,
we,
thank you for
we
coming.
love this town. So thank you.
Okay. Our next application is, and Charles, I have never known how to pronounce your last name, so you're going to have to help me out here.
It's Requet.
Requet, okay. Charles Requet at 737 Jefferson Street. The project is about tearing down a building, and Brooke, we'll have you go through that, explain to the board what that entails.
This shed is zoned residential medium density. It is listed on the 2006 NHL survey as a chicken house. The applicant is requesting to demolish the shed, which will require a permit in addition to an approved COA, if you so decide. And pictures.
Charles, do you have anything you'd like to add to the presentation?
Well, we want to tear it down because that sidewalk and the way the ground is all graded there, we're having issues every time we get a really strong storm and we get water in the house. And so I want to do some more dirt work, but to do that, that building is kind of in the way, and it's going to make it's going to look really weird if I start leveling out the dirt there, and then kind of got this, shed that's 2 feet above it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Nope.
Okay. Any comments from the public? Okay, let's ask the board. Jerome, we'll start with you. Do you have any questions or comments about the building to be demolished?
No, I don't. It's not a historic structure. I drove by and took a look at it. It's actually pretty dilapidated. I think it's a good idea.
Ken?
No, Chairman, I'm ready to move on to a motion.
Ken? Owen?
No, it's a non-contributing structure, so really, in my opinion, it shouldn't even be covered by the guidelines. I feel like the owner should be able to do whatever he'd like with it.
And I agree. I mean, it's not historic. It's causing problems to the historic structure. So I think it should be demolished. Okay, let's have a motion.
I move that, based on the preceding findings of fact, Madison Historic District Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness to Charles Requet for the proposed demolition of the shed on the otherwise empty lot located at 737 Jefferson Street.
Second?
Oh,
Can I second it?
Sorry, second.
Thomas Stark,
Approve?
Ellen McCall,
Approve.
Ken McWilliams,
Approved.
Jerome Brennan.
Approved.
Okay, you're all set.
Thank you.
Okay, the next application is applicant's name, Rich and Sallie Plass, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, at 811 West First Street.
Yes.
And can you start us off?
I'm Sallie Plass. This is my husband, Rich. We brought our contractor with us, Nathan Thompson, and we have a couple of neighbors here also.
Okay, great.
This is a 2005 Roadhouse Condominium. It was not included on the 2006 NHL survey because it was not completed at that time. It is zoned Historic District Residential. The applicant is requesting to enclose the rear second floor porch / balcony. There has also been recent discussion on clarification as to if it's actually going to extend the balcony out by 3 feet as well, as to enclose it. The project will also be going before the BZA for a 0 lot line variance. And I will flip through the several pictures that we have. This is the proposed, the one on the left is the proposed sliding door window combination. The right is the proposed siding. These pictures are of the proposed rubber roof. 2 site plans. And then you can see pictures of the property at the rear. And that one was submitted for public comment, so we'll go back to that one when you're ready.
Okay. Did you guys, would you like to add anything else to the presentation that Brooke just made?
Well, we have a couple of other pictures that kind of show what it would look like, just drawings, basic drawings. But yeah, oh, I see it, sorry. Okay, I don't think we do.
No, pretty straightforward.
Okay. Ken, any questions?
Brooke, the application did not include an extension,
No, sir.
and so can it be amended verbally?
Yes, sir, we can.
So Richard and Sallie, you know, we met during the yard sale a couple years ago.
Oh, I see it.
But it was, I can't see behind you, I don't know who came, but.
This is Nathan, our contractor.
Hi, Nathan. But you know, Joe and Hillary had issues with your project.
Yes.
And so I just wonder if you should request a delay for a month until when they return from New York, you could get together and work this out.
Well, we want to make it right with them also. We love our neighbors. We didn't know that.
Yes, I know, and you know that too. It's reverse, don't you?
Well, we didn't know that there was an issue until last night, but we've been delayed on the project since September just because we had that nice door and window that came in where you could see the ocean, and we pretended like our river is the ocean. But it was damaged. We've been delayed all this whole time. I know that's not answering your question about waiting for Hillary. Oh, sorry. Yes. Yes.
And you can understand their issues,
Well, sure.
concerned over water, because they spent so much money repairing their home from the poor construction of it this spring.
Yes.
I think Nathan should talk to the issue of water.
Yes, please.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
sure. So it appears that the 2 homes have.
Nathan,
Yes.
could you just tell us your name?
Oh, yeah, I'm Nathan Thompson. I'm working with Sandusky Construction.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So the two homes have downspouts that merge into one. Essentially what we would propose would be to run a similar 5-inch or maybe a 6-inch gutter and downspout. So there would be an additional downspout run. The only thing that might get tricky is where the two are currently merged together. It may be in everybody's best interest just to run a new downspout for the neighbors so that they have it all continuous and new looking. We could color match it so it would look the way it should. But I don't think there would be any change to the draining plan or any significant issues
So
there.
there's no issue with the new roof being fairly flat?
No, sir, it would be slightly tapered towards the south, and it would have another gutter in similar fashion, and the downspout would come down and exit by the garage in similar fashion.
And then, how do you address their concerns over the extension of the deck?
Well, Rich and Sallie may have more to say.
That's more for Rich and Sally.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
The concern is about privacy. I think we've been pretty diligent. It's obviously contingent units around privacy. The deck already extends
That's right.
4 feet. We were of the impression that extending the deck several feet doesn't really change the dynamics about privacy, actually. And so, as a result, we didn't think it was an issue, because already it's not terribly private if you're on our deck because of that 4 feet extension beyond the terminus of the exterior wall. So we felt adding a few feet was not a major issue, but it has become that for Joe and Hillary.
And so the rest of the board, if you can see the photo that's up now, you see all the decks match the extension. So across the rear, looking toward the south, everyone has the same extension out. And so the center, the plazas would extend that center deck out an additional 3 feet. Are requesting to extend that out.
One of the things that we did consider when we were thinking through the plan is that's an old picture, and now there is a home on the right side and there's another home, and actually 4 more homes will be on the left end of that row of condos. And so when we look down the sight line from that whole row, that our deck doesn't even extend as far as the other 2 homes, or the other actual, it will be 5 homes. So we did look at that and considered that in the beginning of our planning.
So that's all floodplain. Canada's house, which is the grass field everyone sees, it's a different floodplain building plane. So, no more. So I've got concerns.
Jerome?
Yeah, so I'm looking at your application, and it appears to me that the extension of the deck, that decision occurred after you had applied to the historic board for the...
No.
We understood that it was part of the original application.
All I see is a 10 foot by 10 foot, enclosing a 10 foot by 10 foot section here.
Rick, was the extension added later, or was it part of the original application?
Well, the original drawings that we submitted, it's on there. I don't know what was actually written on the original application.
On the original application, it is written to enclose a 10 foot by 10 foot porch. And the way that it is written was explained to enclose what was already there. However, the site drawings make it appear as if there is an extension, so there has been this confusion, and I think that's where we're arriving at today, is because of conflicting written portion versus the site plan.
Okay. Jerome, did you have anything else?
Well, I think the project itself, the construction materials and all the rest of it seem very compatible with the existing structure. The issue is that the way that the the way that this request was written in the executive summary doesn't really match with what's being brought before us today. Well, that's a concern.
Well, it was included in the original drawings, so does that carry some implications for consideration that it was our intent that would be clear and would be within your consideration?
So Brooke, if it's written down, then is it clearly communicated, do you believe, in the application?
I do believe the site plan, it is clearly communicated, that upon closer inspection, that it did include the extension.
Okay. Owen?
Yeah, I'm a little confused about the vinyl siding. Brian, if you're gonna build a new house in Madison, is that within the building, you can get a building permit to put vinyl on it?
Oh, I mean, that was approved in those existing houses, so I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be consistent, you know, with.
Can you speak up a little bit? I am going deaf, I have to admit.
It obviously was approved, you know, when those were originally built,
Right.
so I would think that just out of consistency, it
Right.
seems acceptable to keep going with that.
To add the vinyl to where there's already vinyl,
Sure.
yeah.
And if I read correctly, you're actually matching the vinyl to the existing vinyl on the property already, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And the guttering.
Yes, and I would add as well, it's actually gonna reduce the total amount of visible vinyl. The door unit that we're proposing would take up most of that face, and you'd just have a very, very thin strip on each side of the door.
Okay.
Go back to that picture for you.
Yeah.
The door unit is the one on the left. It's a combination window door unit.
And that goes all across the south side of that
Yes, sir.
addition?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Because to me, this whole privacy issue, I mean, there's nothing about privacy in the guidelines.
Correct.
As far as I'm concerned, that is an issue between you and your neighbors. I don't know why we should even voice our opinion on it. It's has nothing to do with any opinion of the HDDR, in my view.
Brian, did you have something you'd like to
Well,
add?
I just wanted to agree with Owen. I think that, I mean, if there are issues in relation to that, of course, it can be brought up at the DZA meeting the zero lot line if that's the case. But yeah, what you guys are discussing is simply the project as it stands.
Yeah.
And same thing, honestly, with if there are concerns about water issues or cantilever issues, those are addressed when they get their building permit. That
Right.
they need to show that what they're doing is acceptable to basic code enforcement.
Yeah.
So again, those are issues outside of this meeting.
Exactly. So I think, as the board, we need to constantly keep in mind that, what color we like, or, how we would do it if it was our project. That is all really not anything we should even address. We have to contain our comments to the guidelines, and it just keeps the meeting more efficient as well.
And I would agree. I pondered over this for quite some time and went over it again this afternoon and drove by it. The personal issues between you and your neighbor, that has to be resolved between the two of you. The site view, there's nothing that really addresses that in the guidelines. The materials that you're using are, all follow the guidelines. So I don't have an issue with the project.
I know it's out of your guidelines, but in reference to the neighbors, we're trying to be good neighbors. We thought 3 feet wouldn't really be an impact, but I know that's besides the fact for this committee.
Well, we'll let you guys work that out. Owen, let's start with you on the findings of the fact.
One more piece.
I'm sorry?
Are the Canadas or Huntingtons or egg and spillers here?
The Canadas are here. The
No, if
egg
they'd like to
spillers-
say anything.
Oh,
Just
fine.
one.
Yeah, thank you.
Come on here. I'm Ben Canada. I'm one of the 5 neighbors that she spoke about.
You're the grassy knoll.
I'm the grassy knoll to the east. I'm also a former resident of this exact condo unit. So having lived in that unit and experienced the privacy issues, I understand some of the neighborly concerns, but also that's part of being in a community that's close together and everybody shares and lives together. And it's very much a shared space that everybody does in good harmony and community. Certainly in the present state of the decks, if you wanted to look into an adjacent home, you could. And 3 feet is not going to change that fact. I'm speaking in favor of this. As Sallie has mentioned, all 3 of these decks are retruded from all the neighbors. Mine, the Huntingtons, and the ones being built all sit farther forward. Even with the 3-foot extension, they still sit back. From the view on Vaughn Drive, I don't think it will appreciably change the view of the deck. They will all look in line. As a matter of fact, I noted today, Joe and Hillary have actually extended their deck as they redid it. And theirs extends between 10 and 11 inches past their face. So they're asking for 3 feet here, and Joe and Hillary themselves have just extended close to a foot themselves. So I think it's very well in line with what's there, and I think very appropriate. I think it will dramatically improve the view and enhance an existing structure in Madison. So I'll be fully in support of what they're doing.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Anybody else from the public?
I do want to note, if I may, real quick, each of you received a copy of Hillary and Joe's comments, and I just did want to make that publicly known that those comments were given to each of you, correct?
Yes, thank you, Brooke. Okay, Owen, can we start with you on finding the facts?
Well, the guidelines are really talking about porches, added to or modified on historic buildings, contributing structures. In Madison, this is not a contributing structure. So to me, the guidelines hardly even cover this at all. This is more of a putting us in the position of an appearance commission, which Madison doesn't have. So, going down the list, that is all.
Thanks, Owen. Can I have a motion then? Oh, that's right. Thank you. I'm sorry, Ken?
I agree with Owen.
I agree with them.
And I agree with Owen. Okay, now let's ask for a motion.
Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that the Madison Historic District Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness to Richard and Sallie Plass for the proposed 1, enclosure of existing 10-foot by 10-foot rear second floor porch. 2, installation of Mastic carved wood vinyl siding to match existing siding. 3, installation of sliding glass door unit with integrated side windows. And 4, installation of black EPDM rubber roof located at 811 West 1st Street.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Owen, are you including the porch extension?
And 5, the porch extension.
By 3 feet.
By 3 feet.
We need another second for his amendment.
A second to the amendment.
Thank you, Ken.
Thomas Stark,
Approve?
Ken McWilliams,
Approved.
Owen McCall,
Approved.
Jerome Brennan.
Approved.
Thank you very much for your project, and we'll look forward to seeing the improvements this spring and summer.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Okay. Our final application tonight is William and Sherry Tandy, located at 1017 Park Avenue. And Brooke, can you start us off?
This lot is zoned historic district residential. The applicant is requesting to build a new 16 by 28 foot home on the site, which will require building permits in addition to an approved COA. He did receive previous HDBR approval, but is now requesting to change the design. And I will flip through the pictures.
In the pictures there that really big house, but you gotta keep in mind, his place was the size of the podium where you're sitting. It's 28 feet long. But we want to keep it in the style that Madison deserves. So. We did have some questions about some of the materials we'd like to use if you approve this. The previous approval, we agreed to use like a pro-rib barn metal roofing, not a standing seam roof. One of the reasons for that, if you go to that area early in the morning, it's almost eerie. There are hundreds of those turkey buzzards around here, and they're sitting on everybody's house and tearing up the shingles and everything else. We plan to use party board or wood shiplap siding. I would like to use vinyl windows. The reason for the vinyl windows is I would like to have it kind of a passive house or net zero, very efficient house, and I think the vinyl are more efficient. Come on.
But we do plan on putting like some decorative molding, period correct molding around the windows to make it look period correct. We don't want just stark windows sitting there.
And could you state your name for us also?
I'm sorry, Sherry Tandy.
Thank you.
That's all I wanted to say.
Jerome, did you have any questions?
There's not enough room.
I don't see anything in the application that specifies material choices. The only thing that concerns me is the final window.
I really want to make it as efficient as I can. I'd like to heat it with a candle. And no bigger than it is, it should really be able to do that.
Right.
But there are several windows, and
yeah, you do know that in the guidelines in the historic district that
I do
vinyl windows are out the door. You can't really use them.
I understand that. I don't know if aluminum but I really know that I can get a very efficient
Apparently
vinyl.
there's aluminum clad, and of course, like the Anderson wood windows and double pane. I mean, they're more expensive, but.
And that's another thing about this, that little bitty house in that area of town, you put all the money in you want into it, it's only worth so much money.
I understand.
So that's, and I understand your comment about the vinyl windows in historical district. I would like to have an exception to the rule, to be honest with you, if you can approve it.
I mean, we want it to look as nice as it can, but we are worried about the area somewhat. And it is, it's a really small place, but I think it's gonna look really unique. I think when people drive by, they're gonna be like, whoa, that's nice. I don't think it's gonna be anything tacky or anything like that. But the neighborhood is sketchy, and I'm hoping that some requirements are made to neighbors or landlords that are surrounding us to kind of upkeep as well, because we're not here all the time. We just come, through the summer and on the weekends because we drive from Richmond, and we love this area, but it is concerning the area that it is in, so we are trying to start something positive over there.
Great.
I understand.
Thank you.
The vinyl windows will be in the front facing the street.
Yes, sir. Most of the windows are in the front, and mainly they're to achieve the design of the house.
Right.
I wouldn't care if it had windows in it. I'm that guy.
I have no further comments or questions about it. Thank you.
Ken?
Welcome back.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, we had the previous design after we moved around and dug back as far as we could and cleaned up the lot. It was turned the opposite direction, had a gable facing the street, and we had a very, I think, nice design, but it won't fit without digging into that hill.
No, you and I talked about that at the last
I'm
meeting.
scared of that hill. I'm scared of it. I'm not only the hill shifting, but the water coming off of it too.
All those things. No, I welcome your project.
Thank you.
Owen?
Yes, I also have a concern with the vinyl windows. You know, we recently rejected an application by one of your very near neighbors there on that same street who wanted to use vinyl, even though he has an even more modest house than this will be.
What is acceptable? Is aluminum acceptable?
Yeah, aluminum clad.
Either a wood window or aluminum clad wood window.
They're just not as efficient, the ones that I researched.
They actually are very efficient,
Okay.
and they last longer.
The
than
aluminum?
vinyl window.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I can see aluminum lasting longer, not wood though. But I'll
If-
research it.
Well, you know, if they're maintained, obviously, if they're not maintained,
I'm
but
getting-
aluminum clad, you know, it covers the wood,
Mhm.
so you don't have to paint the exterior of that window. So that would last a long, long time. None of us will be here.
Right.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, did you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's the only comment I had.
I think the project looks great. I love the design. I think it's going to be a major hit on that east side. You know, there's already so much improvement going on right now with the new entrance into the city, and the road. I think it's going to be a beautiful place. And as you said, you know, when you drive by, you're going to be really looking at that place. It's going to catch, I think, everybody's eye.
You can only do so much with a lot that size, you know. At one time I questioned Brian and Nicole about a garage door, trying to come up with different designs, and it doesn't fit. But the carport, I think, would. It's an open area. The materials is, if we could agree on the windows, I think you'd be happy with what we're up to.
And that's the only issue I have also. The windows, the reason we encourage wood windows or aluminum clad wood windows is because they have the bulk of the historic windows that were originally here. The vinyl windows, not so much. And so we try to stick to as close to that as we possibly can.
Okay.
That would be my only exception. Like I said, I think all the other materials you're using are great.
Okay.
And the design of the house is stunning.
Thank you.
Would you consider?
Yeah, like I say, I want to heat it with a book of matches. You know, I don't want electric bills or anything.
Right.
5 more years, I'm done.
And I think that's reasonable. Wood and aluminum clad wood windows all can be double pane. I think you can even get triple pane now.
Okay.
So there should be no reason that any of those windows would be less efficient. In fact, I think they might be more efficient than the vinyl.
I'm fine with that. I mean,
Okay.
and I'm sure Brian could look at it and agree that whatever we decide on would be a wood or aluminum clad. What are the guidelines for doors?
Wood, steel, fiber, and on some occasions fiberglass.
Okay. Would that require us to come back here? Can we agree on that before I leave tonight?
Ladies?
As long as it meets the guidelines, it is a staff approvable item. So you would just need to submit that with a picture of the door and the type of material, and we can get that approved fairly quickly.
Is that only on the front? If there's a door on the back, is it different?
The rear door, I don't think you can see from the road, so I
You
don't
could-
think that
If
would
we
be.
put a door on the side by the carport, I don't think you can see it from the road. I just like to know everything I can while we're here. You know, it's a long drive down here. Don't mind hanging out with you, but it's ridiculous.
Would he need approval on both doors then?
Only door is visible from the street.
Okay.
Only what?
Only door is visible from the street.
Gotcha.
And if you know the material you want to use now, you can get approval tonight.
So in other words, we can get approval tonight, Bill, or you could work directly with Nicole and Brooke.
Okay.
And they can give you staff approval, and you would not have to come before the board again.
I would rather do that, work with you ladies, and then, or Sherry, work with you. She'll be the one choosing doors and windows, I'm sure, but if there's a door on the side, or it's not visible from the street, then if it's metal or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we don't review anything not visible from the street, so windows, doors, siding, etc.
Okay, I think we're ready to ask for a motion. Ken, can you lead us off?
Did you ask for public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Ken, findings of fact.
Oh, thank you. Where I was going. So for the findings of fact for the project at 1017 Park Avenue, they're going to be guided by the residential guidelines, page 69 to 71. And where there are vacant lots, new construction is encouraged to add to the streetscape and promote economic development. And then we've got 7 bullets, Bill, and, sorry Sherry, your name's up there, that talk about compatibility and some basic guidelines, and you meet all of them. Step number 7, garage should be at the rear, and yours, due to that depth of that lot, your garage or carport's gonna look straight at the street, but, so, no, this is a great project. I knew you'd have to come back. That plan just, you thought you had a really deep lot.
Yeah.
So, all right, but that's all.
Jerome? You feel the application meets the guidelines?
Yes, I do.
And Owen?
Yes, I agree with Ken and Jerome.
And I agree for the same reasons. Do we need to include that the windows and the doors
Yes, we
need to
do.
be approved then
Figured that'd be.
in the motion? Okay,
Did you
through
ask for-
staff,
And then public comment.
yes. Are there any public comments? Okay, great. Can I have a motion?
Based on the preceding findings of fact, I move that the Madison Historic District Board of Review grant a certificate of appropriateness to William Tandy for the proposed construction of a new 16-foot by 28-foot two-story residential home, being a change in plans from those previously approved, located at 1017 Park Avenue, subject, however, to the conditions specified in the findings of fact made previously, to wit, wood or aluminum-clad wood windows will be used rather than the vinyl windows proposed in the application.
I second.
Thomas Stark,
Approve?
Ken McWilliams,
Approved.
Owen McCall,
Approve.
Jerome Brennan.
Approved.
Great.
Thank you.
Project is approved. Thank you so much for coming, driving all the way down and coming in. We'll look forward to seeing your project.
Soon, thank you.
Okay, I think that does it for the applications. Do we have any new business or old business? No? Okay, then can I have a motion?
You want to go over staff report?
Oh, yeah, let's do the staff report. Sorry, Brooke.
Doing the February fast track COA applications, David Joe Craig at 810 East 2nd Street on January 26th was approved to replace wood porch columns with new wood porch columns. Lindsay Clark at 828 West 2nd Street on February 1st was approved to install new wood windows and a new wood door. And February 2020 COA review, Bob Green at 904 and a half West 3rd Street was approved February of last year to demolish a non-historic house. The update on that is that he stated that should be done on the 24th, which would be the 1-year expiration mark. However, he said due to the weather, it may take a few extra days, and he is asking if that would be okay with the board if it does extend past the 24th. And then Amy and Steve Hensley at 508 Jefferson Street they were approved, to have gas lights installed by the front door facing Jefferson Street and to install gas lights on the north side of the home. It has been done and it looks beautiful.
Anything else, ladies, before we adjourn? Okay. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
One more
To
piece.
approve that extension of the demo.
It's up to you guys.
Which
I can go down and pull off a piece of siding and say it started if you'd like.
Take a hammer,
Mr.
Mr. Chairman. So, Brooke, when today we had it, last month we had it, so when we have an application that you've done, fast tracks, could you let us know so that when we're talking with folks, we're not bringing up pieces you've already approved?
Yes, I can do that. What I'll do is, when I'm introducing the project, if I've already approved some fast track items, I will mention those in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. Any other comments, questions before we adjourn? Can I have a motion?
Say, I move to
Oh, I move we adjourn.
Second.
approve.
Aye.
Aye.
This one wasn't quite.
And Josh says he's really, 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 really sorry.